99% of advice out there is completely wrong, because most advice out there teach you how to go viral and get millions of views and become the next Mr. Beast. But most people don't want to become the next Mr. Beast. They just want to build their personal brand, build a channel that gets leads for their business.
You've got a new channel now.
Yes.
How much would you make from that monthly?
It varies, but it can be...
Oscar Owen makes hundreds of thousands of dollars from YouTube.
He's mastered making big money from just a few hundred views and is now sharing the exact strategy behind it.
A YouTube video is essentially an asset that works for you while you sleep.
Yes.
Give me an example of that from your magic channel.
Yeah, so I've got a video that's done over $25,000 and it's generated thousands and thousands of leads for my business, and it's done over $100,000 from just that one video. Before you make a video, everyone always worries about the how. How do I make a YouTube video? How do I come up with an idea? How do I do a title? Before you worry about that, you need to know that's the single most important thing that will decide whether or not your channel succeeds or fails. So the first question is, how do you come up with a really good video idea? The most basic way is your idea, all it needs to do is be clickable, something that appeals to your ideal viewer, and something that solves a real problem. Ali Abdaal, he does exactly the same thing for most of his videos. Same with me. The metric for success on your videos is the number of people clicking and then converting on your link. So 1,000 targeted views on a YouTube video is way more profitable than 100,000 untargeted views from the wrong people. I think the single most important thing that any business owner looking to start YouTube has to realize is that
Oscar, thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
So YouTube in 2025 is this huge opportunity for entrepreneurs. Can we get into why you think that is?
Yeah, YouTube is, well, firstly, it's the second biggest search engine in the world after Google, and Google owns YouTube. And every single day, your ideal clients, people who actually want to work with you as an entrepreneur, they're searching things into the YouTube search bar, and they're searching for problems. They're searching for solutions to their problems. And the person who can rank well on YouTube and come up when people are searching in these specific search terms is going to be the person who's able to get leads for their business and really just start dominating their personal brand and building their business, but without having to slash their margins on things like Facebook ads and Google ads and whatnot. So generally speaking, the opportunity with YouTube is absolutely huge. And it's the only place in the world where there's a negative cost of customer acquisition. So you can upload a YouTube video, YouTube pays you to have that video through Google AdSense. And then if you create that video in a certain way, as we'll talk about later, that video can then send leads to your business. And it's the only place in the world that actually has this. And it's also the only place in the world that will show your video years after you make it. So if you look at, let's say, LinkedIn, the half-life of a post there is maybe a few days. Twitter is a few minutes. TikTok, maybe like a day, or Instagram a day. But with YouTube, I mean, I've got videos on my main channel that I posted back in 2019, and they're still averaging 100,000 views per month and bring in thousands of dollars of sales each month for my business. And I made that back in 2019. So, and YouTube is paying me to have this video via Google AdSense. So the reason YouTube is huge for entrepreneurs is if you do it in the right way, if you create videos that are specific for your ideal viewer and you reach your ideal viewer and you make highly valuable videos, you can start building a brand and building assets for your company and your business that will serve you today, tomorrow, and years to come.
Amazing, yeah. And how long have you been on YouTube?
So I started by 2016, so nearly a decade.
And you've got two channels. So one's got over 1 million subscribers and one's got 30,000 subscribers.
Yes. So
talk to me about the two channels. What's the difference between the two of them?
Yeah, so the main channel's got 1.4 million subscribers and it teaches the art of magic. So I actually started as a magician back in the day. And yeah, that's a channel. I've grown that to a 7-figure business, and I've basically built out that channel over the last decade. But for the last year, I basically started teaching YouTube strategy and teaching the systems and operations and the processes that I have in place on my main channel so that other entrepreneurs and business owners can take them and just apply them straight to their channel and grow as fast as possible. But I think the really, really crazy thing is, and this is something we can talk about later, is that my channel with 1.5 million subscribers makes less money each month now than my channel with 20,000 subscribers.
Wow.
And my channel with 20,000 subscribers averages about 500 views per video. And my channel with 1.5 million subscribers over the course of a year will average anywhere between 100,000 to 1 million views per video. And that's, I think, the single most important thing that any business owner looking to start YouTube has to realize is that views do not equal money on YouTube. Subscribers do not equal money on YouTube. It's the quality of views that equals money on YouTube, and how profitable your business is going to be and how many leads you're going to get for your business. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you're a coach, you're a consultant, you're sitting down going, wow, I want to start doing YouTube. Most people, they'll go onto YouTube and they'll type in, how do I grow a YouTube channel? And 99% of advice out there is completely wrong, because most advice out there will teach you how to go viral and get millions of views and become the next Mr. Beast. But most people don't want to become the next Mr. Beast. They just want to build their personal brand, build a channel that gets leads for their business. And if you want to do that, you've got to stop focusing on views and start focusing on the viewer and the quality of views. So 1,000 targeted views on a YouTube video is way more profitable than 100,000 untargeted views from the wrong people.
That's so cool. There's a couple of things that I just want to note down. We'll bring on the whiteboard. Maybe we can explain. Maybe you can explain them. So one of them, basically, the magic of YouTube is that, unlike any other social platform where you post something and it probably dies after a day or a couple of days, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, all these other places, on YouTube you have an asset. You basically create an asset that is working for you and getting views on repeat for months and months and months, potentially even years. Is that been your experience?
100%. And the reason, you've got to remember that people don't think about YouTube like this, but YouTube is a search engine. So every single day, there's 5 billion searches going through YouTube. Every single day. It's like 3 or 5 billion, probably off by a billion or so, but there's a lot of searches going on YouTube. And something like TikTok or Instagram, you don't go on Instagram and search like, how do I run my Facebook ads? You don't go on TikTok and search that. The algorithm suggests stuff for you. And of course, YouTube has that feature as well, but YouTube is also a search engine. And this is the incredible thing. So if you create what I call evergreen search-based videos, which is a very specific type of video that's how-to, it's a tutorial, it provides value to a specific group of people, and it solves a particular problem. If you do that, that video will be relevant today, tomorrow, and years to come, assuming that the topic of that video doesn't change over time. So if you have a tutorial on, well, in my case, card magic, people are going to want to learn card magic today, and they're going to want to learn card magic 10 years from now. So the videos that I've made on how to do a certain card trick or a card sleight, that's why they're still getting viewed to this day, because YouTube allows for that functionality, whereas no other platform allows for that. Yeah.
So essentially, we've got like a YouTube video is essentially an asset that works for you while you sleep.
Yes.
Give me an example of that from your magic channel. Have you got videos that are working like right now that you posted years ago?
Yeah, so I've got a video that's done over $25,000 and it does 100,000 views per month. I mean, I've got 20, 30, 50 videos like this. Well, in fairness, I'd say every single video, because every single video constantly gets views on YouTube. It's very rare that a video will just die out. So there are certain outliers for me that have done particularly well. But yeah, I've got videos that will constantly be shown. And it's because the way in which these videos are created is they're search-based. And I think this is the really, really big principle for people who want to run businesses on YouTube and generate leads for their business on YouTube need to understand, is that within your content strategy, you need search-based content that's going to be relevant today, tomorrow, and 5 years from now. So the way in which the title is framed is like something that someone would type into a search bar, but also the actual content itself needs to be evergreen. So these are the sort of things you need to think about before you actually go and make that video.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, and then the second really cool thing that you just mentioned there is, so a YouTube video basically is an asset that works while you sleep. YouTube then pays you for that video because they give you a share of the AdSense. And then that video in particular that you mentioned that's still working for you, presumably you're also selling a product on the back end of that video. So people are watching that video, they like the magic trick, and then they sign up maybe to an email list or something like that, and then you tell them how they can make that magic trick, and you sell them maybe a course on how to do that, right?
Yeah, so the video in reference, it's called, I think it's like 10 amazing coin tricks anyone can do. It's got about 12 million views, and it just goes up over time, and it's generated thousands and thousands of leads for my business, and it's done over $100,000 from just that one video. But that wasn't just a spike that I had 5 years ago. I'd say that video might generate 5 to 10 sales per month for my business. It is a low ticket product, but 5 to 10 sales per month for my business, my card magic course, and I don't do anything. It's passive income. You put in the effort upfront once, and then from there, YouTube just promotes it over time. So Yeah, that's the real lesson here, though, for business owners is that's the kind of mindset you need to have when you're making videos. There's browse-based content, which is very much like sensationalized. That's kind of the Mr. Beastie stuff. Like, I put 100,000 penguins in a room and saw which one lasted the longest. No one is searching for that on YouTube, right? That's not a search-based video. But when you create search-based content, it lasts over a long period of time. And that's the part of the strategy that I recommend most business owners and entrepreneurs put together for their YouTube channels.
Yeah. So let's just recap quickly. So we got basically the YouTube videos that you're making, the assets that work while you sleep.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube then pays you, I don't know, 25K for that video because it went viral. It gives you a load of leads to your business where you're selling your actual product. And, that generates 100K in product sales. And the fundamentals to this are that it's search-based, it's evergreen.
And it's keyword heavy.
Keyword heavy.
For your ideal viewer. So you need to think to yourself, before you make a video, everyone always worries about the how. How do I make a YouTube video? How do I come up with an idea? How do I do a title? Before you worry about that, you need to know the who. Who am I actually making videos for? That's the single most important thing that will decide whether or not your channel succeeds or fails from a financial perspective. So you need to know who your ideal viewer is, what they're searching for in YouTube, and this is just basic keyword stuff. You could go onto the comments, what people are commenting on your channel, what people are really looking for. You're really trying to figure out what their pain points are, and then you make videos for that individual. So the who comes before the how, if that makes sense. Again, when it comes to doing YouTube for business owners.
Yeah. That's super cool. And I guess the next part of this, we'll just recap again. So those videos, they've got to be search-based, they've got to be evergreen, they've got to be keyword heavy for the ideal viewer. And we're starting with who the video is for.
Yes.
Rather than like how we make it and all the rest of it.
Yeah, that can come later.
Yeah. Where this gets really interesting, I guess, is maybe why you started your second channel, which is you said that the product here is low ticket.
Yes.
So this is low ticket products you're selling on this channel. Like, what's the average order value of these kind of products?
Between $97 to $200.
Yeah. And I don't know, how much would you make from that monthly?
It varies, but it can be from the low ticket, maybe 20K. Be a good month.
Yeah.
Average, yeah.
But you've got a new channel now.
Yes.
Let's talk about that, because that's selling a higher ticket product, which is maybe potentially even more exciting for people listening to it. How did you come across that and decide to go in on that product?
Yeah, it's a great question. I have been doing high ticket selling on my Magic channel as well, so I understand what the high ticket world is. But really the thing that I realized was when you sell low ticket, so I've sold low ticket in volume and I've done it. But the problem is when you have so many customers paying a very low price point, you can't really help them that much. Like, you can't individually go in and help them. And if you actually want to make a real impact and really change someone's life or change their business, it's much easier, more profitable, and better if you sell them something expensive, but then that frees up your time to work with less people and actually make a real difference. So that was the mentality behind going high ticket, as opposed to just doing like another YouTube course that's low ticket and anyone can get it and just you do it yourself. You don't really implement that information. But I think that the bigger thing that you're talking about here is really understanding the difference between views and the viewer. And for business owners wanting to start YouTube, it's, as I said at the very beginning, my small channel with averaging 500 views per video is currently making more money per month than my big channel that's got 1.5 million subscribers and 100,000 views per video. And the reason for that is the business model, which is I'm selling high ticket products, but also this new channel is so specific and so targeted to a particular individual who is willing to invest in themselves to grow their business. So again, when it comes to business owners, other people trying to start YouTube channels, it's not worth sitting down going like, all right, I've seen Mr. Beast has done this, sensationalized thumbnail like this. I will do the same thing. Or he's got this crazy thumbnail tactic or this clickbaity title. You don't want to be doing that because it won't reach your ideal viewer. The same thing with editing, for example. Everyone's seen the Mr. Beast editing with a cut every 3 seconds and these crazy graphics. And they go, oh, that must be what I have to do. But he's not trying to reach one individual. He's trying to reach billions of children out there, right? So it works for him. That's his strategy. And by all means, if you want to become the next Mr. Beast, then do that. But I don't know about you, but it gives me a headache when I see these like overly edited videos. All people want when it comes to watching YouTube videos is, can you solve their problem And if you can, then they might want to work with you. If you have fancy editing, then cool, but it doesn't really make a difference. If you have a really nice camera, that's awesome, but it doesn't really make a difference. The single most important thing is the value you provide in the video, and it's the value you give to your viewer. So again, this is like trying to reframe how people approach YouTube. They often get caught up in the scripting and the cameras and all of these things. It doesn't matter. It really, really doesn't matter. Just does your video solve a problem for your ideal viewer? And if it does, then that's a winning video. That's really as simple as it needs to be.
Interesting. So let's just recap that. So if someone's listening to that and they say that sounds interesting, like I thought I needed to get millions of views on YouTube to be successful, or hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube to be successful, because that's kind of the traditional barometer.
Yeah. Well, a really easy example just to get this message in people's heads is, let's say you did make a video and it got 1 million views, but those 1 million views were from teenagers. They're never going to buy your $5,000 consultancy product. So that's really why the viewer is more important than the number of views. So the question you've got to ask yourself, step one, is who is my ideal viewer? Who are they? And what you've got to think about is, who is your dream client? Who do you actually want to work with in your business? Now, if you're already a business owner, most of the time you've actually done the hard work, because you probably should have clients in your program or courses or whatever you have. And you've really just got to look at the dream clients from within there and be like, wow, if I could work with more of these people, what would that look like? So what are their pain points? What are their goals? What are their aspirations? What kind of things are they searching into YouTube when they actually have a problem? These are the sort of questions you've got to start asking yourself. And with like my clients, I literally tell them to have a cardboard cutout of who they think their ideal viewer is. And it means every single video you make from now on is made with intent for that individual. Okay, so that's the first thing you've got to do. Who is your ideal viewer? The second thing you've got to do is understand, what transformation are you going to give your ideal viewer? So your channel should have a vision, which is this: I help ideal viewer transition from pain point to pleasure point so that they can have impact. So I help an ideal viewer transition from a pain point to a pleasure point so that they can have a certain impact. That's all your channel needs to do. So you basically pick one problem and you solve that problem on your channel, because you've got to remember, the only reason someone's ever going to work with you is because they want some sort of result. They want some sort of transformation. People don't buy information, they buy transformation. So in your videos, you've got to be, again, super honed in on who your ideal viewer is and what result you give that person. And then from there, once you've done those two things, you can start worrying about how you make the videos, your scripting, your titles, your ideas. But those two things are the most fundamental part of any YouTube channel in the first place.
Cool. So, I mean, in your second channel's case, you do YouTube strategy, YouTube consulting. So you're helping who? Like entrepreneurs?
I help business owners, entrepreneurs, or experts who don't know how to grow on YouTube. This is their pain point, and they've struggled to try and grow on YouTube, and they've got no strategy to building a thriving YouTube channel that generates leads for their business so that they can build their personal brand and make more money.
Yeah.
I help ideal viewer transition from pain point to pleasure point so they can have a certain impact. It's really that simple. Yeah. And once you're that particular, then all of your ideas come from there. This is another problem with YouTube advice. Any YouTube guru, I guarantee, go on YouTube now and search the most important thing with YouTube. Every single one will say the idea is the most important part. It's not, because if you make a really good video idea and it gets 1 million views and it's all seen by children, they're never going to work with you. So if you make a really good video for the wrong audience, then that's not a good video. That's not a successful video. So you have to start off with the who. And I say this every single day to the people I coach, and I just try and drill it into them because it's the single most important thing. And then once you know the who, then you worry about the how. And we can talk about the how later, and we'll put together an actual content strategy for business owners. But there's no point doing that if you don't have the who, sorted.
Interesting. What else is important here? So is having a high ticket offer important here?
No, most people when starting out, I wouldn't say go straight to high ticket. If you've already got a high ticket offer, some people do. If you've already got a course business or a low ticket offer, that's fine. Like, stick with what you've got. It's more important you build the channel first and build your audience and maybe just build up an email list. And then you can worry about the monetization and selling things. Of course, if you've already got something, then by all means, straight away start selling it. But a lot of the people I teach, they start making 10K per month. And all they do is they just do everything here. They make videos for those very specific people. And then in their description, they just have a one-to-one Calendly link, which is free to set up. And it's just consulting calls. And they'll sell like a consulting package for, let's say, 3K. 10 calls and they start getting inbound leads from a few hundred views per video. And it really is that simple. So you don't need to now worry about high ticket offers and courses and scaling if you're not at that stage yet. It's really about just knowing what problem you solve, who you're making videos for, and then when you want to start monetizing, either just build an email list, or if you just want to make money straight away, do a Calendly link and then just send them to book a call with you where you sell them a coaching package of some sort.
So we just want to present the next step to them.
Yes.
So that could be book a call for consulting. That could be sign up to my newsletter.
Yeah.
It could be sign up to my software.
Yeah.
It could be anything as long as it's basically a natural next step.
Yeah.
For these people, I guess, who they're coming across to the videos and they're like, oh yeah, I could do with more help with this, or I could do with something that's featured in the videos that looks really relevant to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Okay. So then we're just presenting the next step. Cool. So yeah, just recap quickly. So we've got who is my ideal viewer. That's kind of your dream client. So think about who you love working with. And then we've got what is the transformation we're giving them. I help X person transition from pain point where they're struggling or need help to pleasure point where they're thriving, successful, and excited.
That's your channel vision. So every video you make, you have that written. Before you start scripting, you have that written down. You go, does the video I make speak to this person? Is it made with intent? Intent is the key word here. If you make your videos with intent for the ideal viewer, YouTube's got the best recommendation system in the world, and it will find that person. Okay, so maybe not from day one, but it takes time to find your audience and whatnot. But intent is the right thing. If you again go down this viral route, best case scenario, you get loads of views and you build the wrong audience. Worst case scenario, you get no views because also all of these big viral videos, they're being done by Alex Hormozi, they're being done by Ali Abdaal and Eman Gatsi, and those guys have teams of people helping them. They've been doing this for years. It's almost impossible for you to compete. So this is the other thing about this sort of very niche perspective that we're going down here, which is if you want to grow fast on YouTube and start making money quickly, the fastest way to do it is actually to go niche, because you get really specific on who you're making videos for. The algorithm can then categorize your channel way faster and start showing your videos to the right people. Those people start reaching you and start wanting to work with you, in which case you start getting leads for your business and start making money. Then that money you can reinvest into doing things like building a team, upping the quality of your work, and grow your business that way. And sure, if you want to go down the personal branding route and become the next Ali Abdaal or whatever, you can then start doing that with money in your back pocket to fund a team. But you don't start there. You start off by going niche, being specific, making videos with intent for your ideal viewer. And then from there, that's when you can start going down this route of going bigger.
Yeah. And just talk about the second channel, the business you've got there.
Yeah.
So how much would that be making you per month at the moment?
Yeah, I've only been doing it for 5 months. So the earnings are a bit up and down. Right now, I'm only accepting 5 people into my coaching program each month. So it averages between 25 to 35K per month. Probably could do more because I'm getting a lot of inbound leads just from my channel, but I'm trying to scale the back end, the coaching side of it as fast as possible. And, I want to hire people who can help me. So if I accepted 10 people next month, although I'd make a lot of money, I think the quality of service will go down. So I'm just trying to train up some coaches and stuff right now. So right now it's between 25, 35K a month. It could be more, but I don't want to scale it too fast or I'll get some bad reviews and people will be unhappy. So we don't want to deal with that.
And why is that more attractive than the other business? Is it because it makes more profit than the other business and it's easier? It's
so much more fulfilling. And I know that sounds like a very wishy-washy answer. Oh, I love it. But it's with the magic channel. Firstly, I've been doing magic for 10 years and there's only so many magic tricks I know before I'm sort of twiddling my thumbs going, God, I don't know what to teach this week. I've already taught that trick 5 times. But also when it comes to low ticket stuff, low ticket is very much you buy the course and do it yourself. And that's fine. It gives you your time back, your freedom back. But what I'm passionate about is YouTube. And I love sitting on calls and helping people and putting their strategies together. I genuinely love that. And this allows me to do that and get paid for it and really deep dive into people's businesses and actually help them scale and take them from 0 to 10K a month or 10K to 30K a month. Or some people there's a guy I work with, he's got 1,200 subscribers and he just did 90K last month or 100K last month. Crazy. It's crazy numbers. And he does have a $30,000 offer. So again, he only needs 3 sales to make 90 to 100K per month. And this is the power of YouTube I'm trying to get across to you here. But it's just incredible to sort of actually make these impacts, see these results. And yeah, that's the main reason. It fulfills me a lot more than just teaching the same metrics I have been for the last 10 years.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so I've kind of looked at this. I think I've figured out who my dream client is. I think I know what the transformation I'm giving them is. And I've probably got some next steps that they can take. Should I then think about starting to make videos, and what's important in having success on YouTube?
Awesome. Okay, so now we know the who, we can start focusing on the how.
Yeah.
So we know who we're making videos for. We can go, all right, how do we make videos that actually reach our ideal viewer? How do we make videos that stand out from the competition? And there's endless strategies to do this.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying the episode and you want a breakdown of all the tips and strategies so you can implement them easily, I have made a breakdown and I've put it in the link in the description. You can get it for free. Really hope you enjoy it. Now let's get back to the episode.
So the single most important thing when it comes to the how to make a good video is your video idea. Your idea is responsible for 50% of the video success. And you've got to remember that your idea sets the video's potential. And then your title, your thumbnail, your editing, your scripting, that just determines how much of that potential you actually unlock. So the first thing I would do is I would spend, if you're going to spend 10 hours making a video in total, let's just say that's how long you've got to make a video. It could be less, it could be more, depending on your time, but let's just give 10 hours. At least 1 hour of that time is spent coming up with video ideas. The thing that blows my mind is people spend so much time creating videos, but they spend like 2 minutes coming up with an idea and then just go and make that video, or they go and film the video, right? But your idea is responsible for 50% of the success of that video. So you've got to spend a good proportion of your time really thinking about how you come up with a good idea. And again, your idea, all it needs to do is be clickable, be something that appeals to your ideal viewer, and something that solves a real problem. That's all it needs to be. You don't need to overcomplicate this stuff. So the first question is, how do you come up with a really good video idea? Now, there's loads of different ways to do it, and I could talk for 5 hours on this, but the most basic way is if you already have a course, a community, a YouTube community of some sort, just see what people constantly ask you, what questions, what problems they want solved. So that's one really simple way to do it. Another way, and probably the most powerful way, is you look for what are known as outliers. So you find other channels, and you go on other channels in your niche, and you just see their highest performing videos. So let's just say you're in the fitness niche, and let's say you specifically, because we want to be specific, let's say you help mums in the fitness niche get better at yoga whilst they're like really busy. So you help busy mums get better at yoga. That's basically the rough niche you're in and your ideal viewer. There's loads of channels on that. So you find other channels in that niche and you just go on their highest performing videos. And that means it's a proven video idea. So you don't have to guess. If a video is done really well, it means it's a proven idea. So you look at their idea and you just think to yourself, how can I improve this? So you start with their video idea and then you just take it to the next level. You add your own spin, you make it unique to you. So that's really probably the most powerful way to come up with video ideas. And I can tell you every single top YouTuber does this. Every single one of Mr. Beast videos pretty much, they found a video idea that's performed really well in the past and then they just do that because they don't want to spend 5 million on a video idea and it to tank. So a lot, Train versus Giant Pit, he made that video a while ago and that video got him 300 million views. 8 years ago, there's a video called Train versus Giant Pit and it got like 100 million views. So he was like, oh, this is a proven video idea. I'll just make it even better. Ali Abdaal, he does exactly the same thing for most of his videos. His book reviews and whatnot, he'll find a video that's done really well by someone else, make a video on that topic, and a lot of his videos come from that. Same with me. And you're not copying, you're just taking these ideas as starting points and then improving on them, but they're proven ideas to work. So that's probably the best way to come up with ideas. Yeah.
I was on a call with Alex Hormozy the other week, and they have this like deck, which is it's like obviously a researcher in their team who just every week just sends them interesting ideas from, I don't know, could be this month on YouTube, but some of them are like, as you say, they're like from 3-5 years ago. But there's something about that video where particularly you want to be looking at channels where they have, maybe low subscriber and low average views per video. And then one video just outperformed the channel by like 10 times, 20 times, right?
Yeah.
Which just seems to validate there's something about that video, the title, the thumbnail, the way they delivered it, the topic, the idea, that had an extreme interest in it. So 2 ways of coming up with video ideas: pain points of your client who you're offering the transformation to, and then outliers in that niche or just broadly anywhere on YouTube?
Either.
Yeah.
So you either do it in your own niche and you see what's working in your own niche, or you go into other niches and go, oh, this is a really interesting idea. How can I apply it to my niche? So that's another way to do it as well. There's some tools out there like oneof10.com is incredible for this. This software, all it does is finds outliers for you. vidIQ's got the same tool. MrBeast has got a company called ViewStats that now has the same tool as well. And all of these tools, all they do is you search something to the search bar and it will just come up with all the outliers videos for you. And that's like 20 ideas right there. But again, the most important thing is these ideas are proven to work. They're proven to reach people in your niche, right? So that's one way to do it. But the pain points one is really interesting because the pain points one, those videos are not designed to get views per se. They're designed to solve problems for your ideal viewer when they search it into the search bar.
Yeah.
Now, let's just say only 100 people a month are searching this term. Well, your video is then capped at 100 views per month. But those people who are searching for the thing, they're your most ideal clients because they're literally looking for a solution on YouTube. So this is another thing with YouTube is you need a content strategy because if you only make these pain point videos, you get very few views and your channel doesn't grow very fast. If you only make these outlier videos, you do get a lot of views and you do build your personal brand, but you don't solve real problems for your niche audience and they never buy from you. So it's all about having a balance between the two. So what I would recommend is if you do 4 videos per month, have 2 videos which are growth-based. And growth-based videos, they're not designed to go viral. I want to be very, very clear on that because we've talked about it a lot. But they are designed to reach new people in your niche. And the best way to come up with growth-based videos is to go down the outlier route, okay? Then the lead-based videos, they're not designed to get views. They're designed to nurture your current audience and people searching for these things. And you do 2 of them per month. So the lead-based videos are going to be like how to solve X problem, how to fix Y problem, how I made this transformation, right? Whereas the outlier videos are a lot more sensationalized. So it might be like, this problem kills 90% of funnels. Like it's kind of like people aren't searching what problem kills 90%. It's a lot more sensationalized, but that's the content strategy I recommend people follow.
Very cool. Very cool. So we're kind of at the, 4 per month, 2 per month. So if we're making 6 videos a month, that's the split we do. And I guess if you're making slightly less, you could just take those same proportions and ramp it down. And these are nurturing leads, fixing pain points, optimizing for search. Would you use any tools to help with the search terms?
Yes. So
what would you use?
Keywords Everywhere is really good. And it's a keyword specific tool.
Okay. That's called Keywords.
Keywords Everywhere.
Okay.
And it just tells you the search volume on particular search things. But what I do is I very literally use the YouTube search bar. So if I'm going to make a video, YouTube has all the data of what people are searching for already. If you just search how to, and then you just put something in your niche, it gives you loads of suggestions. So, you know, if I would just go through this on a mental journey now, let's say I was making a video on how to light your YouTube videos properly. I would search something like how to light YouTube videos and then just see what pops up afterwards for under $500. How to light your YouTube videos for a cinematic look. How to light your YouTube videos for, do you see what I mean? It gives you loads of suggestions and then you can do, oh, that one resonates with me and people are searching for it because YouTube is suggesting this stuff to you. And then again, those videos are probably not going to get 1 million views, but let's say you have how to light your YouTube videos for a cinematic look, and then you have a lead magnet that sends people to your main offer, and that's how you grow your channel from like a very lead-based perspective.
Yeah. So these are like high intent videos. I mean, I got a friend who helps people with picking the best platforms to invest in, for example. And he obviously has a channel where he talks about investing and broader topics around investing, but he also has a second channel where he literally explains how to set up an account with Vanguard.
Yes.
And obviously the people who are watching that video, there might only be 100 of them.
Yes.
But probably 90 of them are going to click the link, which is, I don't know, an affiliate to sign up to Vanguard.
Exactly.
And then he'll get paid, I don't know, £100 per referral. So
think about it as well. They're going to be search-based videos. How to sign up to Vanguard. People are searching that in. Yeah. So the chance of them actually following through and becoming an affiliate is so much higher. If he titled those videos, crazy Vanguard trick anyone can do, well, it's kind of like, oh, maybe I'll click that. No one searches for that.
Yeah.
So it will then be suggested to people. People are not searching for it.
Yeah.
It will appear on someone's home feed, but that person is way less likely to be in that moment wanting to. So that's a really good example. Really, really good example. When you title it with the pain point one, which is like very search based, if someone does click on it, they're just like such qualified leads, and that's where that's where your business is.
Yeah.
That's where the money is.
And that's something that we'll come on to a bit later on, which
Yeah.
is validating the success of videos, really,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of fundamental to all this, which is around not focusing on view count, focusing on lead count and revenue generated and those kind of
Yes.
things. Okay, so video idea, is that everything with the video idea?
Yeah, I think that's a good overview on just how to come up with a good idea.
Cool.
Basically, find ideas that are proven to work, find your viewers' pain points, and then from there, what you want to do is you can go, okay, I think I can make a good video on this, and then that's where your video idea comes from.
Cool. What do we do next?
After that, it's your title and thumbnail. So a massive misconception people have is they then go, okay, I've got a good idea, I'll film a video. But here's the thing, if you come up with a really good title and thumbnail, if you've got a really good video idea, but you can't come up with a good title and thumbnail for it, then it's no longer a good video idea because your video is as good as your title, thumbnail, and idea. Okay, you could have the best video in the world, but if no one clicks on that video in the first place, no one knows that it exists and it will never perform well. So once you come up with a good video idea, you then need to come up with a title and thumbnail that represent that idea successfully. So that's the next stage. Now, again, you don't need to overthink this. You don't need to spend hours and hours coming up with crazy Mr. Beast thumbnails. I'm not trying to say that, but with your title, generally speaking, it needs to be 55 characters or less, and it just needs to make someone click. That's the only rule of a title. It just needs to build curiosity. And your thumbnail, it just needs to build curiosity. So here's the thing. The only reason someone will ever click on one of your videos is because that video builds curiosity. And you need to create what is known as a curiosity gap, which is the space between what your viewer currently knows and what they want to know. And your title and thumbnail just need to build up as much curiosity as possible. The more curiosity it builds, the more likely someone is to click. So that's essentially all it needs to do. The title, 55 characters or less, and just basically don't be clickbaity, but explain what the video is about. And then
Not even words, characters, right?
characters.
Characters.
55 words would be like 20 sentences.
Yeah. So 55 characters because that's super short.
Because any longer, if it's like 80 characters, you'll get the ...
So you can't read it all.
Someone can't read it. So let's just say they're scrolling through their phone and the video is like really long. It might be like the best microphones that you should use in, and then it stops because it's too long.
Yeah.
So someone doesn't even know what the video is about, which is the worst thing.
Yeah.
So it has to be 55 characters or less.
Is that true for the search stuff as well?
Not quite. So search stuff, it can be longer because people are searching for it, but you do have to, because it can be more keyword heavy as well. But generally speaking, you still want to try and keep it 55 characters or less, but there is more wiggle room with search-based content, maybe 60, 65 if you're really going for that.
Yeah, or just make sure anything after the 55 characters is kind of only relevant for search.
Yes, exactly.
And then the curiosity gap. So basically creating some curiosity. I've got to click on this to find out more.
Yes, that's it. So there's loads of different ways to do this. Showing faces is a good one, but you've got to think about your brand when you do this. Again, lots of advice out there is have these crazy expressions on your faces, but like if that doesn't represent your personal brand or the kind of brand you want to build, then don't do it. So what you need to do, generally speaking, in thumbnails is you want to create what are known as scroll stoppers. So when people are scrolling through their phone, the first thing they see is the thumbnail, and then they read the title. So the title often should just be a natural extension of the thumbnail itself. And the thumbnail, if you can have something on that thumbnail that just grabs their attention, it just means they stop scrolling and then they read the title, and the title builds curiosity. So what is a good thing to put in the thumbnail to stop people scrolling? Well, generally speaking, it's things that people recognize. So that's why faces is important, but also things like logos. So, something like PayPal, for example, let's say you're a finance channel. PayPal has spent millions of dollars trying to get their logo everywhere so people recognize it. And when you see something you recognize, you're more likely to be drawn to that thing. So if I showed you 1,000,000 icons or 1,000 icons, and there was like the PayPal icon or the Tinder icon or the Stripe icon, you'd be more drawn to those ones over all the ones that you don't know because they mean something to you. So when you put an icon on a thumbnail that you already like, you put an icon on a thumbnail, people know, then they're more likely to stop and look at it. The same with money and numbers. So big things that make people go, oh, that's interesting. And the same with faces. So they're the three main ones that people tend to use.
So on the thumbnail, things that people recognize.
Yes. So
numbers,
faces, numbers, and icons or logos or like recognizable things.
Do you think there should just be free elements to a thumbnail? That's something some people say. Like, is that a thing?
Well, thumbnail it's all about removing, not adding.
Yeah.
You don't want to, if I say this, some people then put a face there, 20 icons here, big numbers, then there's too much. So the thumbnail just needs to convey one message and keep it simple. And the less you can do that with, the better. So the more you can remove from a thumbnail, yet whilst retaining that core message, the better. So you don't need to overthink it again. It could literally be, let's just say it was a very simple video about how you made a certain amount of money last month, and you're breaking that video down, breaking down your sales funnel, whatever. It could be a picture of you smiling with the amount of money you made to your left with the stripe icon. That's it.
So someone's scrolling and they're like, oh, someone made some money. They look happy. What's this about? And they read the title.
It doesn't need to be over the top or crazy.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So that's title and thumbnail. Are there any tools you'd use for making them, or like
title,
validating proven ideas? Or
title, ChatGPT is great. It's really, really good just to come up with different ideas. And then thumbnails, business owners, I would say that most business owners should outsource thumbnails from day one. To get a good thumbnail designer, it's about $70 per thumbnail. And it's just something that has such a big impact on your business and your YouTube channel, yet it's such a low value task to outsource. It's so easy to find a good thumbnail designer unless you're really good at Photoshop yourself. Like, it's just, you may as well outsource it. So that's always one of the first things I say people should outsource.
Yeah. And I guess just the only other consideration there is again, like, who is your ideal customer? What's going to resonate with them? What's not going to resonate with them? Yeah,
exactly.
If you're trying to work with FTSE 100 CEOs, maybe the Mr. Beast style.
Do you think a FTSE 100 CEO is going to want to go, look how much money I made this month? They don't care. Yeah. But if you're there serious and you're smart and you're sort of, you're looking confident and you've got a very well lit image and it's just a nice looking thumbnail that has some curiosity behind it as well, then of course that's going to draw them a lot more. Yeah. And then the title of the video, if you're trying to work with FTSE 100 people, put that in there, put that in the title, and guess what? It draws that specific ideal viewer. Does that start to make sense now? That's how the whole thing works. Yeah. So you're making it specific for that individual.
Yeah. And actually, we might want to stop certain people from clicking with the titles and the thumbnails. We might put in, something for business owners, so that anyone who isn't a business owner doesn't click on that video.
Exactly.
Just in the same way we wouldn't want leads coming to the business who can't buy. We don't want people coming to the videos who can't buy.
100%.
Cool. All right. So we've got the title and thumbnail. What comes next?
Okay. So once you've done the title and the thumbnail, then what you want to do is actually start planning out your video. And this is the scripting side of things, which often drives people insane. So the easiest way to script out a video is to follow what I call the HIVE formula, which stands for hook, intro, value, end screen. So the hook, you've got to obviously hook people in. This is in the first 10 seconds. The intro, you've got to give yourself credibility. Why should someone listen to you about this particular topic? That's another maybe 10, 15 seconds. Intro is 3 to 5 key points, breaking down whatever it is you're talking about. And then the end screen is where you send them to another one of your videos to increase session time, to let them know who you are, to build your personal brand. And that's the overall scripting formula.
So just run me through that again.
Okay, yeah. So hook, intro, value, end screen. Hook, I would say 0 to 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And all you do in the hook, people overcomplicate this so much. All you do is repeat the title. And people are, what about, do I not need to do this crazy thing? No, because you've got to think about this from the perspective of your viewer. If you have a YouTube video, which let's just say is talking about the best microphones for podcasting, that's the title for whatever reason. We're going to use that as a title.
Yeah.
If you start the video and you say anything other, pretty much, then in this video, I'm going to explain what the best microphones for podcasting are. People click off because your title and thumbnail set an expectation.
Yeah.
Expectation set. Someone clicks on the video and they want that expectation to be met. If you don't meet that expectation right away, then they click off because they feel clickbaited. Yeah. So you can sometimes have do you guys want to know what the best microphone is? Well, in this video, I'm going to explain. You can hook them in with a question of some sort, but essentially in the first 10 seconds, you just need to repeat the title of the video. It's that simple. Then what you're going to do is you're going to do the introduction, because once you've confirmed their expectations, they're like, oh, I'm in the right place. You now need to show why you are the person who's got authority to speak on this. So my name's Callum. I've been doing podcasting for the last 10 years, and I've tried hundreds of different microphones. And in this video, I'm going to break down the top 5. Suddenly, you've now given yourself credibility, and they actually want to listen to you on this particular topic. All right?
So that's like proof, basically.
Proof, exactly. Now, a big mistake people make here is they go on and on and on and on because they were featured in Forbes and they have a thing on the Sunday Times and they're a best-selling author. Like, people don't care. They just need to know that you're actually credible.
Yeah.
So just, again, this is 10 seconds of 15 seconds of credibility, as I just gave an example. Right? So that's basically it. Then the third thing is value. You want to get into the value straight away. People have clicked on the video to get some value, solve some problem.
Yeah.
So you need to get straight into that. So the value, I like to break it down into 3 to 5 points. That's just the most simple way to do it. I don't think scripting out things word for word is the best for most people because most busy business owners are busy and they don't have time. Scripting out video word for word takes a day.
Yeah.
Doing bullet points, if you know your niche well, you can speak about it. And if you do bullet points, it's just a lot faster, a lot more natural. And so what you do is you have your 3 to 5 points you want to hit, a rough structure for them, and you just start talking about the individual points. So the first microphone we're looking at today is the Shure S&B 500, and then you break it down and you just talk about it. And then the end screen, all you're going to do is you're going to send people to another one of your videos. And the way in which you do this is very clever. You don't just go, if you enjoyed this video, you'll also enjoy this video, because there's no reason for someone to then go and watch the other video. What you do is you set up a new problem and you say that this next video that you've made will solve that problem. For example, if we made a video on microphones and we do this whole thing and we say, however, if you want a really good podcast, you also need to have a really good camera. Otherwise, the microphone doesn't matter. So watch this video here where I explain what the best camera is for podcasting. I'm making it off the top of my head, but it's something along those lines. And people go, oh, yes, I need to watch this second video. And this sends people almost through a customer journey on all of your different videos. This increases session time increases watch time increases trust. Trust means people like you. People liking you means people buy from you. So that's the kind of journey that people go on.
That's super interesting. So the end screen is sending someone to another video.
Yes.
On your channel.
Yes.
That is relevant for them.
Yes.
And that's important. Is that important? So it sounds like that's important on the one hand because it increases the time spent with you on your channel. They build trust with you. They get to like you and take the next steps with you. Presumably that's also important for YouTube as well. Is that give them a signal maybe?
Oh, they love it. YouTube wants people to stay on the platform as long as possible. They can show more ads. They can make more money. So YouTube loves channels that do this.
Awesome. All right. What else is missing here, or what's the 80-20 of a good video in terms of script here? Like, at any point here, am I kind of like hinting at something to come, or the 3 to 5 points? Do I kind of set them up and then say 0.5 is important, or
there's different techniques you can do. But the one I'd say there's loads of different ways to do scripts. Sometimes you can do that. You can say, and point number 5 is the best. Make sure you stay. You can do that if you want. The one thing that's missing from here, which I was going to say, is after point number 1 or 2, you want a call to action to your offer.
Cool.
This is the most important thing, especially for business owners. Here's why. So if you look at a normal retention graph on YouTube, obviously it starts off at 100% of people watching and it goes down, 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 down. And on a good video, maybe 30% of people, 40% of people are watching at the end. Let's say 30%. And that means that if you have your only other call to action, obviously you've got the end screen one, but if you've got a call to action to join your email list or your program over here, it means, 60% of people haven't seen it. If you put it at the very beginning, well, the problem is you haven't delivered any value. So people won't click on it. So the ideal position is about here, which is, generally speaking, after point 1 or point 2, about 30% of the way into your video. At this point, you've delivered value and they trust you because they've seen your credibility. And then you have a call to action here that sends people to your offer, to your email list, or anything along those lines. And that's the best place to actually put it because it means the maximum number of people are actually going to see it.
So I've delivered, 2 points here?
Yeah, 1 or 2 points, but it's more just like 30% of the way through your video, depending on how long the video is.
Cool. Okay. So 30% of the way through. And what would that call to action be?
So the call to action, if you want to absolutely skyrocket the number of people clicking on your call to action and sending them to your lead magnet of some sort, you need to make lead magnets or have a call to action that is specific for the video. So this is this is the thing I teach people in my private stuff, and it just blows their mind because it literally doubles the number of people signing up to their email list. It doubles the number of people going through their actual funnel. The reason for this, let's just say, let's use the microphone example.
Yeah.
Let's just say point number one is, let's say we're making a video about how to use this microphone.
Yeah.
And point number one is you need to know all these different settings to make this microphone work.
Yeah.
And then I've got a lead magnet, very fast to make, just a Google Doc, might take you 15 minutes to make. And it says, by the way, if you want to just download all of these settings on a cheat sheet so you can access it whenever you want in the future, just click the first link in the description and you can download it for free. The number of people who will do that is crazy because your lead magnet, your call to action is specific to the video. So it's called a specific lead magnet. If it was just, let's say your actual channel is about podcasting and your offer is like something to do with podcasting. If your call to action was my 10 tips to become a better podcaster, it's kind of relevant, but it's not that relevant. And therefore 50% or more less people will actually click on it because it's just kind of not relevant and you feel like they feel sold to. But when your lead magnet is like extra value on a problem that they have, my God, it like literally triples, quadruples the number of people clicking on your links. It's crazy. So for my magic channel, for example, I used to have a free magic training. I sometimes send people to that, but it's like, maybe they will, maybe they won't look at it. But if I perform a trick and I say, and if you want to download my exact script that I say when performing this trick, I can literally like 100x the number of people clicking on that link because it's so relevant to them. I then might get from that video 3,000 people, like quite literally 3,000 people signing up to my email list, of which I can then suddenly sell. So like that little change there, small, and a little bit of extra effort on all your videos, but the actual impact on your business can be the difference between your channel making 10K a month and 100K a month. It's really that big.
That's amazing, yeah. But I can see why it feels relevant. So I'm less likely to click off the video because I'm also like, I'm not thinking, why the hell is he talking to me about something that's not about the best podcast microphones?
Yes.
So I'm not going to click off. And as you say, it's 100% more relevant to me being on this video and seems like added value. So that's really interesting. Do you have any other CTAs in here other than the one at the end, which is, go to my next video?
So I just have two. I have one. My theory generally is if someone hasn't clicked on that one or they don't want to do it, then they're not warmed up enough to actually join my A-list or buy from me, which is why having one more CTA, it sends to another one of my videos, nurtures them even more for free. And then the other video will do exactly the same thing. And it will have another CTA to a valuable lead magnet. That's an extension of point 1 or point 2. And then it will also send them to, if they don't click on that, another one of the videos. And it just keeps going on and on and on to the point where they're warmed up. The general rule is that if you want someone to buy from you, high ticket, they need to watch 7 hours of your content. Okay. 7 hours of your content is the general rule. So again, this kind of circles back to what we talked about at the very, very beginning. But this is why YouTube is so good. Because think how many TikToks you'd have to watch from someone to consume 7 hours, right? Millions. Right. Whereas YouTube, if you have, a 30-minute video or whatever, it's only a few videos before they're literally in position where when they hop on that sales call, they just want to buy from you. Like they've seen all your content, they like you and they trust you. But when it's TikTok, when it's how many LinkedIn posts would you have to read to sort of be there for like 7 hours and really understand and trust this person? So that's why YouTube is so good at this. But that's also why you need to increase your session time of the viewers, and that's why sending them to other one of your videos is really, really good. And also, like when you have things like an email list, when they sign up to your email list, if they do click on the lead magnet, you don't just try and sell them straight away. You send them to more of your videos, and it's this whole ecosystem that you build where you're in their inbox, you're in their YouTube feed, you're just everywhere, and they start watching all your content, and then they really want to work with you and buy from you.
Yeah, I'm sure anyone listening to this can all think of those people who just like occupy that space in their mind. It's actually annoying.
Yeah.
You just go down the rabbit hole of someone and you're like, you're always just thinking about them and what they're up to, what they're doing.
Exactly.
They kind of seem ever present everywhere you go. What's the next step then? So I've made that video. Mm-hmm. I've posted it. Is there anything else I need to know there?
Well, then, so you've scripted the video, then you actually film the video.
I filmed it, yeah.
Which is, you set up your camera, you get your nice setup. Again, you don't have to have the best setup in the world. I always say have the best setup possible, but don't let that hold you back. One of the things with business owners is they're perfectionists. That's why they have a business. That's why they're entrepreneurs. They want to make the best of everything. And when they apply that mentality to YouTube, it really holds them back because they go, oh no, I'll wait until I've got Sony FX3 with this lens before I start filming, or I've got the best this, the best. And it's just like, no, you're much better off just making imperfect content, because an imperfect video is better than a perfect video that's never gets made. So that's what I say to people is just film the video, and quantity is actually your best friend when beginning. So quantity will lead to quality, but you don't start off with quality. No one is ever just born a good YouTuber. It just never happens. Look at Mr. Beast's first video, look at MKBHD's first video, look at any famous YouTuber, look at their first ever video, if they've still got them up, and they're always terrible. And the only reason they've got to where they are now is because they stuck at it. And the golden rule for YouTube is if you make one video per week for 52 weeks and you improve one thing at a time, you will be successful on YouTube. I can't guarantee it. I can't guarantee a number. I can't guarantee a subscriber count. I can't guarantee how many sales you get. But the only thing I can guarantee is that it will change your life in some way, shape, or form. For example, a guy I worked with recently, he's just made his 21st video, was getting no traction at all about Webflow and stuff. And then his 22nd video, Webflow themselves saw it and invited him out to give a speech at a Webflow conference in America. And overnight, it changed his life. And now he's really seen as an authority in the Webflow space, which is incredible. So that's the kind of thing that YouTube has, this personal branding power as well. So when it comes to filming videos, the point I'm trying to say is just do it and just commit to making one video per week. The best thing you can do is have an input goal, not an output goal. So an input goal is, I am now committed to making one video per week, 52 weeks. The output goal of subscribers and views and sales, you can't control that. You literally cannot. I wish you could, but you can't, right? So there's no point focusing on that. And, my second video got no views, I'm going to quit. Like, no, because you have input goals, not output goals.
Yeah.
You commit to making one video per week, 52 weeks. That's your input goal. And from there, if you do that, like I've never seen it not happen, it will change your life in some way, shape, or form.
100% can back that. I think I've only got about 20 videos on my channel, and the problem is every time we post a podcast episode, we get so many leads come into the business.
Incredible.
That actually we can't actually afford to make another podcast video that month, because we got to deal with all those leads coming into the business.
Exactly, and it's obviously you got to pay for the setup and people, but it's like it's essentially free. And if you had Facebook ads, how much would that cost you?
Oh yeah.
If you were trying to run Google ads, and those people, if they found you through a Facebook ad, they wouldn't even trust you. This is the crazy thing. YouTube is organic. It's an individual. You're humanized. People like you because they like you. Like you are the reason they want to work with you. When it's a Facebook ad, it's some random person who they've got no connection with. And do you know how much harder it is to make a sale through a Facebook ad? And it's not inbound organic leads. You're literally slashing your margins. Whereas YouTube, you're posting you've got 20 videos, you're posting content, and you're getting too many leads from it, which is a really good problem to have. So yeah, you're a perfect example of just the power of YouTube and how it can work.
Yeah. It's funny as well, because basically when we get to that 7 hours of content, or even less than that, really, one video per week for 52 weeks, they feel like they know you. There's that parasocial relationship as well. So they almost know you better than you know yourself. So when they jump on the call, they can talk to you about all these different things and your personality and all the rest of it. And they almost feel like they've met you multiple times before.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're jumping onto a call with, I don't know, someone you found through direct outreach or a Facebook ad or anything, that level of trust just isn't there.
Yeah.
And actually that level of, intimacy, they actually like you or feel like you're a friend, probably because you've helped them out with loads of this content already.
Yeah, of course.
Which is super interesting. All right, so I've then made the video, I've posted it. What comes next? Do I need a system underneath this? Like, could we talk about that?
Yeah. Okay. So that's
or the lead magnet that you talked about.
Well, I would say more importantly for like the people watching this, I think the bigger thing with everything we've just talked about is that it all sounds well and good.
Yeah.
But YouTube takes time.
Yeah.
It just takes time. And the biggest struggle that people have, a lot of people are like motivated, they're dedicated, they want to do it, but they simply do not have the time to do YouTube, because YouTube is like taking another full-time job. And if you're running a business, you've got family, you've got friends, you're trying to maintain some sort of social life, you want to go to the gym and be healthy, you want to have breaks from time to time, you've got to do YouTube on top of all of that. How on earth do you do it? And the most simple thing I can say is that when it comes to doing YouTube, you need to set systems and not goals.
Okay.
Systems are the single most important thing in terms of growing your channel sustainably that will allow you to do this thing long term. So when you look at it on like a pipeline, there's lots of different stages to creating a YouTube video. There's come up with the idea, then there's thumbnail and title, then there's scripting, filming, editing, uploading. They're the different stages.
Yeah.
Now, let's just say that takes 8 hours to do the whole thing. It means you've got to somehow find 8 hours in your week to do that. And that's even not that long, but like, let's say 8 hours. However, if you're a business owner and you can outsource video editing and thumbnail design, overnight, you'll get back 60, 70% of your time.
Yeah.
Like it really is that black and white. And if you, so the next one, okay, cool, but how much does that cost? To hire a decent video editor, like not world-class, but decent enough just to put out videos and just get you going, I would say about $150 per video is a good amount. Any less, and it's just like their English won't be very good, there's gonna be loads of back and forth, and it's just not gonna be worth your time.
What's up, guys? Hope you are good. Hope you're enjoying this episode. This is a very quick message to say this episode and all of my content is made by my agency, 7xcontent.com. So if you would like to make amazing content or grow your podcast or just take what you're doing to the next level, then check us out. I would love to speak to you. Now, let's get back into the episode.
Just run me through those points of the system again. They would be...
Okay, so there's to the outsource, the whole pipeline is there is ideation,
Yeah.
coming up with idea. Then there's thumbnail,
Got it.
title.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's scripting,
Scripting.
filming,
Yeah.
editing, and then uploading. Now, the two things that you should outsource is your thumbnails
Okay.
and your editing. As soon as you outsource those two things, if this whole process took you 8 hours to do, instantly it's cut down to like 2-3 hours to do, because the editing takes hours and thumbnails take time as well. To make a good thumbnail, it does take time.
Yeah.
So it means when you outsource these two things, and the price for that, if you're a business owner, you've got to think about this as a business expense. You've got to shift your identity and realize that this YouTube thing isn't just something you're doing on the side. This is part of your business. This is just as important as a sales call. This is just as important as coming and filming a podcast with someone. You have to make content, and you've got to set aside a budget to make content. The baseline price would be $150 per video for the editing, and let's just say $100 per thumbnail. So that brings the total cost to $1,000 per month for YouTube. So I would say that's the baseline, and means you can make 4 videos a month, and you can do it in like 4 hours a month. So actually, when you break it down this way, as a business owner, it's not too hard.
Okay. Yeah. So this is I've outsourced this. This is costing me $400 a month. Gives me a great thumbnails. And then this is $600 a month. Gives me 4 videos a month.
Yep.
Takes away that. And then that means that the ideation, title, scripting, filming, uploading, that takes me how long?
I mean, okay, let's just say ideation, you're going to spend 1 hour doing that because it's really important. So 1 hour doing the ideation. Title, you're going to spend half an hour on. So we're up to an hour and a half. Scripting, maybe 2 hours on. So we're up to 3.5 hours. Filming, maybe half an hour. That's 4 hours. And uploading is minimal. So it's like 4 hours a month. Maybe a little bit longer. I'd put a buffer either side.
Are we going to do this weekly?
So that's a really good
Or are we going
question.
to batch it?
So when starting out, I think just 1 video at a time is the best thing, just because you've got to get good at all these different skills. And as soon as you start off by batching, it's a little bit harder. But what I recommend people then do is they set aside a content day or a content half day.
Yeah.
So in your calendar, you need to actually commit to doing this, which is you go, most entrepreneurs that I work with, they have sales calls and meetings all week. They take Sunday off. So most people I work with, it's Saturday morning is just the content morning. They wake up and it only takes 4 hours to make 1 video, but you have a little bit of time either side. Let's just say this whole thing is going to take you 6 hours because the filming might take a bit longer, or just whatever. This whole thing is going to take you about 6 hours. And every Saturday morning, that's what you do. And it's in the calendar. And this is your actual day in the life of becoming a YouTuber. And if you can't commit to doing that, then you can't be a YouTuber. Like you can't do YouTube with 1 hour per week unless you've got a full team, right? So really, that's the minimum amount of time and the minimum amount of investment, money-wise, that you need to make videos 4 hours a week.
Cool. Okay. That sounds reasonable. I can do that. I've already got a time block on Thursday for podcasts. So I have Thursday afternoon for podcasts normally. So I could do Thursday morning for YouTube.
And block it in for the next month though, just
Yeah.
so when everything else comes up, it's like, oh, I can't do that Thursday morning because I'm doing content. And,
Yeah.
and it's got to be that serious, because people always want the results of YouTube. They see all these YouTubers with like all this personal branding and inbound leads and this and this and this. And they go, oh, I want that. It was like, well, this is what you need to do to get it. It's not as you can't just upload a video when you feel like it.
Yeah.
It's input goals, not output goals, setting time aside, setting out a calendar, having a system. Like this is a system here.
Yeah.
To actually doing it. And when you don't, as James Clear, I think he says, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So this is a system that you can put in place to actually start building a YouTube channel in a sustainable way.
Yeah. Great book, that one.
It is.
As well. Cool. All right. So I'm now making them.
Mm-hmm.
What comes next?
In terms of what stage are we at?
I guess maybe like where is it? Where do I send the people who are watching now? What works well there?
Okay, so after you've made a video, like going down the funnel. Do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So this is a little bit less YouTube-y. This is more just general marketing. One thing that a lot of people don't realize is 80%, well, in my case, 80% of all my sales for my Magic Check program come through email, and they don't come directly from YouTube. So the way in which I break this down is YouTube builds your audience, email builds your business. And for example, someone like Ali Abdaal, all of his sales come through email, like all of them. People, again, he's got a very big YouTube course, as people know, and it's like, it's not people seeing his YouTube video and just going buying it like that. People, when it comes to doing email, essentially, this really changed my life when I realized all this stuff. But it's basically, the only problem with YouTube is YouTube videos take time. They build a lot of trust, authority. They're a very good way to get exposure and nurture leads, as we've talked about. But you can't be making YouTube videos every day. But with email, you can send an email every day. And you can automate this as well. And it means you can always be in someone's inbox and always just be present in their life. And when they're eventually in a position where they want to buy, you're at the top of the mind. So the way in which I break down sort of my email strategy is very simple. Firstly, I send daily emails. People don't like that, but some people go, oh no, you should email once a week or whatever. I send daily emails because if I don't do it, someone else will. So this is not like a newsletter. This is an automated email sequence that when someone, if we just go down the magic route right now, when someone signs up to one of my lead magnets on the Magic channel, they'll just get an email every single day. Importantly though, these emails, as I alluded to earlier, it's not like, hey, buy my program. Hey, buy my program. Hey, it's just value, 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 value. So they sign up and they get a whole bunch of free tricks. Then the next day, I send them a new trick that's even better. The next day, I'll send them another trick that's even better. All of these tricks are YouTube videos, by the way. And I just keep sending YouTube video, YouTube video, YouTube video. And these people are getting all this like crazy good value upfront for free. And then at one point, once I've sent, let's say 5 emails that are like really valuable, I'll do 2 emails that do a soft sell. But hey man, if you've been enjoying these, by the way, I've got a paid for program. It's called Card Magic Pro. And I just talk about that. And I might send a follow-up email the next day. And then if they don't buy, straight back to value. And I've got this like email sequence I've done, and it's like 6 months long, and it's automated. So if someone signs up to my email list, they'll literally get emails from me for 6 months straight. And if they haven't bought it after that, then I assume they just don't want to learn magic. But yeah, it works. It works really, really well. And it's powerful because it's automated. I don't have to do anything. It sends people to my YouTube videos. There's this whole sort of ecosystem cycle. And that's really how I approach the email side of doing marketing.
That's very interesting. So you get people, they come to YouTube, you give them value, capture their email, they come to your email list. You then hit them daily with value for 5 days, and it's basically back to YouTube.
More free stuff.
Check out these other cool things that you can do with Magic. And then you have 2 soft sell emails, which are, if you're interested in learning more, maybe check out this course.
Check this. Here's a client result. Here's someone. Yeah. Just that kind of stuff.
And then if they don't buy, then it just goes back to value emails.
Yeah, it's this on loop for 6 months.
And do you kind of have that? So again, 5 value emails, 2 sales emails.
Pretty much. I mean, it does change from here. There's also times where I open up on my own story, like how I learned magic, my motivations. It's humanizing myself again.
Yeah.
But this is the thing: you can't do this on YouTube. Because if you just upload it every day on YouTube, it's just not really a feasible thing. Whereas email, you can. And email as well, you own your audience. I'm sure you know about this, right? Which is if YouTube got deleted tomorrow, I mean, I'm pretty much screwed. But it's dangerous, right? Because it nearly happened with TikTok, right? And if TikTok got deleted and all these people started panicking, they lose their audiences, and what happens? Email, you own your email audience, because you've always got their email addresses. And email is not also controlled by an algorithm. So with YouTube, the algorithm's always changing, and it's like search stuff, and there's browse-based stuff, and there's always different things, different styles. Email, it's been the same for 20 years. It's you send an email. Is this spam? No. Goes to the top of the box, right? It doesn't. There's no algorithm that makes we'll put this 3. No, it's like the latest email goes to the top. So people buy via email, and all my mentors, all the people I've worked with, all of their money is made through email, and all the YouTubers that you know and you see making all this money online, it's all through email. It just like that's where the actual selling happens. And I specialize in the YouTube side, so I really teach people how to do step A, but step B and then selling and sending people your offer, that all really happens through email.
That's interesting. And this is your low ticket. Is it any different for your high ticket offer?
The high ticket on YouTube with the Magic, there's an Ascension offer, so you can only access it if you've bought my low ticket course,
right? And
then from there, there's high ticket coaching as an option. For my high ticket offer right now, I've got a weekly newsletter, so I send people to a lead magnet, but it's not a peppering them with different this, because I don't have like enough case studies yet. I'm not in a position where I want to build up that big sequence. I will at some point.
But it's just weekly email.
It's just a weekly email updating with YouTube news, maybe some client results, things that I've learned. And it's just about providing value. And occasionally in the weekly email, I'll just say, hey, I'm opening up 4 spots for my coaching program. Click here if you're interested to apply. So that's really the approach right now. One thing I do want to mention though is people don't need to overcomplicate this. Like, there's lots of different funnels. There's lots of different ways to sell things. As I mentioned earlier, before you worry about email and funnels and these different things, just build a YouTube channel and build an audience. And if you want to start making money as soon as possible, just send them to a Calendly link and start doing one-on-one coaching. You don't need to do all this crazy email stuff. That can be later on down the line.
Cool. Okay, so that's good to know. So, as we get more advanced and we build our business, case studies, all the rest of it, we can do something crazy like this, which is 6 months of daily email. But if we're just getting started, we could just do a weekly email and
just a newsletter,
or even cut that out and just go direct to book a call.
Or direct to your website where you've got, let's say, a link to book a call.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. I think one of the problems with business owners when they start out is they see other business owners dominating everything, the email, the LinkedIn, the Twitter. So they think, oh my gosh, I need to be on everything. A lot of the time when I speak to my clients, they just need focus and they just need clarity. And I think Alex Hormozy says this, but the best way to start making 10, 20, 30K a month is have one product, one platform, and position yourself as one expert to help these people out. That's it. Don't worry about dominating all the platforms. Long term, you can do that. Long term, be on LinkedIn, be on Twitter, be on all these different things. When starting out, you need to build your business. So have one product, dominate one platform, and solve one problem. That's really it. Start off doing that, build your business, hit 20, 30K a month, and then from there, reinvest that money into a team to do the email stuff, to do the LinkedIn stuff, to do all that. But that's not where you start.
That's interesting. That's cool. What attracts you to the because obviously you could sell agency services on the YouTube side, you could sell, I don't know, magic products or packs of cards. What attracts you to the kind of info selling consultancy, the YouTube thing? That's what, a group coaching for 6 months with a course or something like that?
It's a lot more scalable. That's one thing. Agencies can be a pain in the ass. From the people I know who run agencies, it's tough because I'm a consultant, I'm not an agency, so I won't make your video for you. And I know in the YouTube done for you service, you've got it's people offer these services out there, but it's a lot of work. It's really, really tough. You've got to come up with video ideas, then you've got to edit the videos for the clients, you've got to make sure everything's perfect, you'll do the scripting for them. If they've done something wrong, you've got to go back with them. And there's just loads of back and forth. It's very, very profitable. I know people who do it and they make a lot of money. But I just love talking about YouTube and I love helping people, but I also just don't want all the added pressures and stress that comes with the agency model. So I think agencies can be awesome and it's a good way to make a recurring monthly revenue without having to always chase new clients. But it's just not something I've seen myself really wanting to do. I much prefer to sell info, to advise people, to help them out, and then they go and do the work, and they come back to me with problems they've got. And for me, it's more of a lifestyle decision. One of the things that I haven't got into yet, but I really want to talk about in the future, is the balance between life and work. It's something I'm really passionate about, and I don't like the idea of burning yourself out. I've been there, I've done that. There was a point 4 years ago when I was building my main magic channel, and I literally collapsed on the floor, and I thought I was having a heart attack. It was pretty bad, and I was taken to hospital. And when I sort of spoke to everyone there, I was literally burnt out, and that was the diagnosis. And it was interesting because that, for me, I was in a position where I had a channel that nearly hit 1 million subscribers. I'd just been given a book deal. I had a business that was doing well. I was at university. I was doing all these things. From the outside, everything looked good. But from the inside, I had no team. I had no structure. I had no how to hire people. And I was completely burnt out, just working the whole time. And yeah, I really realized that something needed to change. So that's when I started looking at, in fairness, I nearly deleted my channel. That's how close I got to, because it was just got too much. And then I was like, no, let's treat this like a business, and let's start hiring people. Let's start outsourcing things. And these are things that you're never taught as a YouTuber. You're never taught this at sort of school or university. So it was things I had to teach myself. I read an incredible book called Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell, and it really talks about the power of outsourcing, and just made me realize how stupid I'd been trying to do my editing myself and my thumbnails myself. And I started doing this. I started building my team. I started buying my time back. And then suddenly I was free to do what I wanted to do. And I was able to then travel the world and go to Everest Base Camp and go diving and go to all these different places and live a good, fulfilled life whilst also doing what I loved. And that was the amazing thing. And that was actually one of the big motivations for wanting to teach YouTube, because I've gone through the whole process already of going from 0 to 1 million subscribers, and I've made loads of mistakes. And when I speak to a lot of people who want help, I can just see them going down a road that I was going down that led to me having quite a serious incident. So yeah, I try to help people veer off that and drill into them about outsourcing and buying back your time and not focusing on views and numbers, because mental health wise, that can be really tough as well when your last video isn't performed as well, and it ruins your week, because so I've really tried to share my lessons and stories with some of the people who I coach as well.
That's interesting. So what does your current week look like managing those two channels? Like what?
Yeah, so the magic channel, it's 3 hours a month. I've got magicians from all, so I've outsourced the magic now, I've outsourced everything. All I do is, because my old videos get a lot of views, I do 1 video a month there. I spend 3 to 4 hours per month doing it. All the stuff we do now is on the back end. That's really where we optimize in the business to scale and grow there, because there's so many people coming in from my old videos that we don't need to make 1 video a week or 2 videos a week. It's just not needed. So I've got a team of magicians who perform the magic for me. I've got a script writer who does the scripting. I've got an incredible editor who does all these 3D animations. And all I do is I sit down, I read a script, and I don't even watch the video when it goes out. Everything's outsourced. So even the uploading is done, the analytics, the tracking. And I sort of go into the data and I watch it from time to time to learn how to improve. But that channel is just done. And that was a channel that used to take me, 20 hours a week, maybe longer, whilst also working a job and everything. It was burning me out. And I thought there was no way I can outsource this, because I'm the only one who can edit like this. I'm the only one who can do magic. I'm the only one who can script. And then you find people who not only can edit better than you, who can not only edit like you, they can edit better than you. You find magicians who are way better than you. And suddenly you realize, there's this whole other aspect to doing YouTube that I didn't know existed. So that channel just runs on autopilot now, which is amazing. The new channel, I am in a building stage, so I am putting a lot more hours in, but I'm doing 3 videos a week at the moment, and I would say I'm spending 4 days a week on it. And the other time I'm spending coaching my clients and building the coaching business.
Interesting. So how much do you charge for the coaching?
It's gone up recently, but it's about between $5,000 to $10,000 is the rough price.
Cool.
Depending on what they want and what services and package.
And you put kind of 4 people into that per month.
Yeah. So right now, because it's 4 to 5 people per month, just because it's really time intensive, and Early stages, I'm obviously really all about results and trading my time for money. So I'm really just I'm not trying to scale it. I'm just trying to get results, go all in, and really just dig my teeth into their business and get them results, build out systems for this. And then I can start training people up to deliver the same results as me, if not better. So that's, again, I'm taking the same principles I've learned from the magic business and just applying them to this, but I'm not trying to burn out. I'm not trying to take on every client because I will be where I was, which was not a happy place. So yeah, that's the approach I'm taking.
That's cool. And you do that because it's like group coaching, right? So it's like maybe 2 calls a week, and then most of it, I guess, is material that they can watch in their own time. And
yes, and everyone has got one-on-one support with me as well. So there's the one-to-one aspect, which isn't scalable, but again, early days with a limited number of students, I'm doing one-to-one calls with every single person, one-to-one feedback every single day. So it is really, really time intensive.
Yeah. So you could be making like 20 to 40K a month doing that, just you, and then you've obviously got potential to scale it. When you see people like the kind of internet gurus, your Charlie Morgans, your Iman Gadzhi, who's the other guy in Dubai, Will Brown.
Will Brown, yeah.
And they talk about that business model, the coaching business model. How legit is it? Like, they talk about crazy numbers, and they talk about, anyone can teach someone how to do something and make a lot of money doing it. And you're obviously charging quite high ticket there. Mm-hmm. I can imagine a lot of people listening to this who love the idea would struggle to charge a lot of money for their expertise. Mm-hmm. Could you just talk about that? Like, are there people out there willing to spend significant amounts of money to grow their businesses or for help with certain skills? Yeah. And like, how do you get them to a position where they can charge like the maximum or what they're really worth? What's the process there?
That's a really good question. So I'm in a good example because magic is a very, very low value skill. Mm-hmm. When you learn magic tricks, you're learning how to do some stuff with 52 bits of paper, right? That's not I'm not promising, hey, I'm going to make your business $20,000 a month. So it's very hard to charge a high ticket price for magic. And I had these massive imposter syndrome feelings that I wouldn't spend $5,000 learning magic. But here's the crazy thing, people will. Because when you charge high ticket, you're not trying to reach 100 people a month. Let's just say your program is $5,000 and you want to make $20,000 per month. You need 4 clients. That's all you need. You need 4 clients per month. So that's the first thing you need to understand, is you don't need a lot of people, right? So for me, from this coaching business, it was very fast to start hitting 20 to 25, 30K per month. But I only need 6 clients a month to do that. It's not many. Whereas if you go low ticket, to make the same amount of money, you need hundreds of sales. Okay, so that's the first mental shift, which is when you go high ticket, you can get better results. You can work with people on a deeper level and actually make a meaningful impact. And the obvious question is would you rather 100 people sign up to your course and none of them really get any results? Or would you rather 4 people sign up to your course and you actually change their life? Whatever that transformation is. So that's the first thing you've got to think about. And with me, I was like, well, okay, that makes sense. But okay, if I was in the marketing world, it'd be easy. But I teach magic. But for some people, this is the second mental thing, is $5,000 is not a lot of money for some people. And for them, you've got to really think about the deeper reason why someone wants to learn your skill that you have. So magic, some people, to wake up on Christmas and be the uncle who can pull out a deck of cards and impress all their children, or grandparents impressing their grandchildren magic, for them that's easily worth $5,000. And it's this hobby that they can dive into, and they have a mentor. And I started to realize that there are so many people out there who actually would be willing to spend money on this, because for them it's worth it. For most people it's not, but you're not trying to reach most people. So that's the second thing. Now, the third question that people have to ask themselves then is whatever niche they're in, you've got to obviously provide enough value to justify the high price. So your question shouldn't be, oh my God, does my niche have it? I can tell you every single niche. Just go online, whatever your niche is in, and just search high ticket coaching, and there'll be someone selling it. I've never seen a niche. I know someone who does it in knitting.
Knitting's what everyone always says.
Yeah, somebody, I can't remember, it was someone mentioned this the other day. I can't remember where it was, but someone they high ticket knitting program. But it's But people would do that. Harmonica's the other one. Someone learning the harmonica and they were doing $10,000 clients. And the final question you've got to ask yourself then is not, oh, I can't do this, but it's what value could I provide to make it worth $5,000? When you reframe it like that, you start, okay, what could I add? What thing could I put here or here or here to make it worth this high ticket price? And when you start working towards it, as opposed to like away from it, that's when it's like a lot easier to like start justifying that money and that price. And then you go, well, guess what? I only need 4 people a month. And then let's say it's $5,000 program, 4 people a month to make a $20,000 a month business. That's why it's like the easiest business model. And then the coaching side, you do group coaching. People love it. People love the community aspects and they can ask ideas. My group coaching, people just stay and listen. They've got no questions. They just hop on the call and listen to me help other people and write down notes. They love that side of it. So certain people don't and other people do. So I do one-to-one and I do group and you can just join either. But that's the reality of this high ticket coaching model. It's very, very legit and people actually do it.
That's interesting. What's the limit on that type of stuff though? Because that would be my other thought with it would be, I totally get it. 4 people in the program, that feels like group coaching. Everyone's going to get attention. Once you've been doing it for 6 months, say, and we're getting to 25, 30 people in the program, does the quality of the service drop? Is that too many people in there?
No,
or like
it's the other way around. So what people then do is hire new coaches. So for example, let's say I do 2 coaching sessions a week, but I'm not a specialist in thumbnail design. I know a lot about it, but what if I then added an extra session per week with a professional thumbnail designer? And then on Monday, I'm not there, but they can ask this thumbnail designer anything they want about thumbnails. Let's just say on Tuesday, I'm not a specialist in script writing, but I can get a script writer to do a very good one, obviously, to just do 1 hour per week. And I pay him for his time, 1 hour per week. And he just sits and answers questions. So maybe on Wednesday, I'm not a professional audio guy, but I get an audio guy to do it. And suddenly the value is unmatched because you're not trading your time. You're getting specialists in certain areas. You pay them what? I mean, the magic one, this is what I do in the magic one. You know, I can pay a magician $150 to speak about magic for an hour and coach people. Like that's the same as you'd get for a gig, a corporate gig per hour. And he doesn't have to leave his house. He just has to talk about magic, not perform. For him, it's the best deal in the world.
Yeah.
So I can have coaching sessions daily on my magic thing and I'm not able to be there. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. I can see, I think in Ali Abdal's program, for example, he has sessions with his team. So you're not getting access to Ali, but if you want the guy who writes his scripts or the guy who runs his sponsorships or the guy who runs his whatever, guy or gal, then you've got 1 hour with them, which, as you say, is potentially even more valuable.
So the whole point is it's very, very scalable. So you can then actually have a lot of people and it's not tough. The other aspect of it is, it's also like, but you've got to enjoy it. You've got to love talking about the thing that you're doing it about. And that's really where the whole passion and the fulfillment, if you just do high ticket coaching for money, you will hate it because you then got to talk about something you hate for like years or whatever. But the actual scalability, most people, you say you can scale a coaching program to about $1 to $5 million a year. Before going further, it becomes too hard.
Interesting. That's really cool. How do I measure success of my videos then? Because it sounds like with all of this, it's kind of a focus on less views, but the right kind of views. What would be the things I should be looking at?
So what I look for is firstly comments. That's a really good success metric to see if your actual audience like it. But the thing I've been doing recently, which has for me just blown my mind, is I track my links. So most people use views as the metrics for success on a YouTube video. Let's say a video gets 2,000 views, but it gets no sales or no leads for your business. Is that a successful video? Probably not. But if another video gets 1,000 views, but you get 50 link clicks to your lead magnet, of which 25 people sign up, I would say that's a lot more successful video. So what I tell people to do is track the metric for success on your videos is the number of people clicking and then converting on your links. Well, just clicking because that's all the video is meant to do. The conversion is obviously your sales page, and that's a separate thing. So the metric for success is the number of people clicking on the link that you're trying to take them to, the next step. And there's loads of different softwares out there you can use, like Genius Link or whatever, just to track the number of people clicking and on what particular video they're coming from. So I track all of my links, and it's crazy because some videos that I make, or even my Magic channel, for example, they might have 2 million views, but the number of clicks that I get or people going to my lead magnet is way less than a video that's got like 100,000 views, for example, because my call to action was better or the lead magnet was more relevant or whatever it is. So does that start to make sense? Like the metric for success is not views. I mean, views play an important role, and obviously you want views. And at no point in this interview am I trying to say views are terrible. Like, you still want views. You just want the right type of views from the right type of person. But the actual success metric for me is, I just made this video, and I made a video a few days ago on my channel. I got 1,500 views, and I think 200 people signed up to my email list, which is crazy. Like, the number is really high because, I think it's called How to Make a YouTube Video in 1 hour per week. But if you watch the video, the lead magnet is just like free templates. So if you watch the whole video through, like, you'd be stupid not to download it, because I just give you this is my template for titles to speed up your time. This is my template for scripting to speed up your time. It's such a natural extension of what I'm talking about. 200 people signed up, of which I booked maybe 15 sales calls for the next week, which is loads. And then you filter out the good ones and bad ones, of which I've had a few high ticket sales. So that's from 1,500 views. And that video has already generated around $10,000. And it could go up because, again, there's an email chain people go through. So it might go on to generate more. I obviously don't know yet, but that's the whole principle behind this thing.
What tools do you use to track those things?
I use Genius Link.
Yeah.
And I think it's called like short.io, or it's a link shortener or something I use, which is great as well. I know a lot of people use something called like Hyros, which is a very famous one, but it's like $500 a month, so I don't use it because it's an expensive one, but it's probably the best at tracking, but I don't use that.
So that's a link click. Does that that tracks my link clicks? Is there anything that tracks my link click to sales call or link click
I've been scratching my head for the last 3 months trying to figure this out, and I just can't. There is a way to do it, but it's so complicated.
Yeah.
I figured out a way to do it, but it's so complicated per video, it's almost not worth it. So I'm looking into it right now. And that's one thing. If there's a way, because you can do it on paid ads really easily, the number of people from paid ads, but with organic YouTube content, there's just nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure that out at the moment.
You have to kind of like manually reconcile it in some way.
Yeah, you've got to put little tags in the links, and then every link you make is like really long, and then you've got to attach it from there to like some Google analytics thing, and then you can only access it in analytics, which in itself is pretty complicated. And it's so cumbersome that I just can't be bothered.
But again, it's views are important, but they're not the real metric of success. It's link clicks, which is intent basically, and we're using Genius Link to track that, and then conversions and sales calls. And I guess to a degree, there's probably, it's fairly easy to roughly track those things. If you publish a video in a week and maybe it gets good performance that week and bumps numbers. Cool. Is there anything else that's important here?
I think that's the main thing. I think that covers, the tracking of the links is the most important metric in my opinion. I mean, generally speaking with YouTube, I'd say the other one is watch time. Like, watch time is what I focus on. So again, attention is the currency that you're playing with when it comes to doing YouTube. So my general rule is each month, I just want to increase my overall watch time by 10%. If you do that, your channel's growing in a healthy way. Again, I don't focus on views though. It's just like, how long are people watching me on particular videos?
Yeah. And then do you have any goals around like average view duration, click-through rate, end screen clicks? Is there any way you like those to be? Or
generally speaking, you want your click-through rate in the first 7 days to be between 5.5 to 7.5%. That indicates it's a good thumbnail. If it's lower, either the idea is not good enough or the thumbnail is to change. But you've got to remember that as the video gets more views, the click-through rate is always going to go down. So my videos with like 12, 15 million views, their click-through rate is probably like 2% because they've been shown to so many people, right? Yeah. So click-through rate's like a kind of an interesting metric, but that's why I say within the first week, when it gets shown to your core audience, 5.5 to 7.5% is a good benchmark. Generally speaking, you want the retention curve at the end, you want to be around 30 to 40% of people still watching the video. That means a decent number of them are going to see your end screen. So that's another metric that I track. But honestly, apart from those two, It's I don't really care about the other metrics. It's link clicks are the most important for me.
Cool. So we want our click-through rate to be 5.5 to 7.5, which kind of hints that we've done something that's interesting to our audience, and then 30 to 40% of people are watching at the end of the videos.
And also the other one is interesting one actually is look at your geographics, because again, business owners look at geographics and age range, because if you're trying to attract, generally speaking, people in Western countries who are in their let's say their 50s or 30 to 50, whatever it is, then you want that to be the majority of your people. If you look at it and you go, oh, wow, most of my audience are from Pakistan and their children, there's something you're doing that's seriously wrong. And like, I know I said that quite flippantly, but I said that because I had a client very, very recently, and he is in like quite a very clickable niche. He's in a very interesting niche, but it's really applicable to children. And so he just gets so many children watching his videos. And that was a really big problem. So we've actually ended up, he's 500,000 subscribers, and we've ended up making him a new channel because his current channel it's really good and it's great and it's getting views and whatnot, but it's not attracting his ideal viewer. And we know that because of his geographics. So we looked at him, just like, okay, 500,000 subscribers, around 1 million views per video, awesome, but you're not attracting people to your back-end product. So we're going to keep doing this. We're going to use this channel for something else. And then we're going to set up a new channel that is specific and targeted for your ideal viewer. And that's the route we've gone down.
Interesting. Yeah. That's I guess, something to watch out for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is just who on earth is actually watching the videos.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
Where are they based? Like, could they actually buy from you?
Exactly.
And the Indian children, as lovely as they might be, they might not be a good fit for your
much buying power.
software.
Exactly.
All right, Oscar, this has been amazing. Where can people find you?
Well, thanks for having me on. And yeah, my YouTube channel that teaches business is just called Oscar Owen Business. The only problem with my other channel, the magic one, is if you search Oscar Owen, it just comes up with hundreds of magic tricks and pen tricks and coin tricks. So you've got to search Oscar Owen Business, and there's just loads of YouTube strategy advice you can find on there for free. And then if you are interested in coaching and you want to apply to see if you're a good fit for the coaching program, just go to youtubecreatorpro.com, and yeah, you can fill out the form there and we can see if we're a good fit, and yeah, take it from there.
Awesome. Yeah. I think if people enjoyed this, taking a tip from you, they will also enjoy my interview with Daniel Priestley, which is around building a personal brand and the power of that, and why people think of people like Elon Musk as so successful, and he is able to dominate so many industries because of the personal brand that he's built. So if people enjoyed this, maybe they can check that one out as well after.
100%. Sounds good.
Cool. All right, man. Thanks so much for doing this.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me on.